All right, fall camp. What's the vibe? What you excited about getting this underway?
Yeah, I mean, I think just excited to get back on the field with our team, with our with I think 20 plus new players. Um, I think the biggest difference right now is just I think we have 15 plus returning players that now can be great examples of everything that we do. This time last year, we're literally having to teach everybody everything, and now you have a built at least a year in you have a built-in culture, and you want a team that's uh, coach fed but player led, and so really strong group of returning players that are at the core of everything we're doing, and that entering this day makes it a little bit less anxious because you have some guys who can show the players the way.
You look at Werner and Minnick and Bose, three guys that maybe could have moved on but came back. What kind of boost does that provide when you're talking about those guys that return?
Yeah, total game changers. Far and away, no disrespect to anybody else, far and away the biggest, most important recruits are the returning those three and the other returning players. So that's how you, especially in this conference. I just got back from the SEC baseball coaches meetings, and that was one thing everybody was talking about is the older teams are the ones that seem to be winning. And you can have a talented team, but youth, trying to be a freshman in this league and compete in this league is really tough. And so the older clubs, like our team, even last year, I think that played a role in it. So getting those guys back, and obviously all three of them are really good players. So Minnick's, I don't know how much of fall practice he's going to be a part of. He had a surgery this summer, and we really want him to spend some time on some specific things in the weight room, and he'll eventually be a part of it. And then just trying to keep them all healthy so they're ready to go in the spring.
What's kind of the goal, or just what do you want to get out of this fall camp? Now that you're a year into this.
Well, I mean, we have to pitch better, and so than we did last year. And so there's a lot of competition. I would say that's the starting point. Is the guys who pitched a fair amount for us last year. One Prager's out for the year, so that's an open spot. We know what Dettmer's capable of doing, so we'll handle him with kid gloves. Brad Rudis, we know what he's capable of doing, but pretty much everybody else. I mean, this is a lot of wide open opportunity, and we have a lot of currently guys that are trying to win those jobs. So that's the first thing, is getting those guys on the mound and seeing what they're capable of doing. And then the toughest spot to replace is going to be your catcher. I mean, there's never been a good baseball team that hasn't had a good catcher, and Troy Claunch brought something that you can't recruit, right? And that's experience and moxie, and I mean those are things that are developed over the course of time. And so I would say the two biggest areas that we really have to evaluate is who's going to separate themselves on the mound, and what do those catchers look like.
Even though you lose a couple of those key positions, a lot of returners, this team knows what they're capable of now after that trip to Omaha. So I feel like the bar is set and the standard's already set for what this team is going to look like every year.
Yeah, I don't know about every year. I mean, I think every team in our league, 14 teams, I think every team right now probably feels pretty good about their club. Now, who stays healthy? What kind of seasons do they have? How does the ball bounce? So yeah, but I like our starting point. Where we are right now. But let's just see how the fall progresses, and but certainly, again, like I said to Travis, just open up with is, having that group that has been to the College World Series and won an SEC West championship and was a part of winning and at a high level. Now you can let them lead the way.
Coach, both Nathan and Trevor identified Jace LaViolette as a guy they're excited to watch. What makes him such a special, unique prospect?
Yeah, I mean, he's just exactly what you just said. He's a super talented. He's a guy that he's big and strong, but he also runs well. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he also has, at least from what I've seen to this point, has a concept of the strike zone, uses the whole field to hit. He's a very, very highly touted professional prospect, but he has a great love and affection, not just for A&M, but for college baseball. And so I think he's super excited to be here. I've had several guys like that in my career that that have spurned professional baseball out of high school, and it's interesting how they approach college baseball, and he's certainly, to this point, he's approaching it the right way. He hasn't done anything more or less than any other freshman in terms of his attitude and effort. He's working his rear end off, and obviously he's a super skilled player. Now, how does he transition into college baseball? That remains to be seen, and we'll see it over time. But it's certainly a lot to work with. You'd like to have a lot of those guys show up on campus.
And beyond that, other newcomers, whether it be transfers or true freshmen, that you're really excited to see how they battle and compete for jobs this fall.
Yeah, there's a lot. Hunter Haas would be the first one, transfer infielder from Arizona State. Losing Kaler, losing Kalai Harrison, we didn't really have a true shortstop in the program, and so Hunter's a big get for us. There's some freshmen that have shown signs of being able to help us that way, but it's just tough in this league. I'm not saying a freshman can't do it, but I'm excited about Hunter. Excited to figure out the catching, and then probably some of the transfer pitchers. Carson Lambert from USC, Brandon Garcia, very big, strong, good arm, left-handed pitcher. Find out what he's capable of doing, if he can be a starter or reliever, whatever. So there's a lot of new things, a lot of new toys down there to work with. We just need to see them in game action. There's a lot of people that can look good in the bullpen or a simulated game. Let's get some games going, inter-squad games, which will start next week, and then we have those 2 fall games. So it's exciting.
You talk about bringing back players that know the culture, but with how the assistant coach carousel goes, how much of a boost was it to bring back the entire coaching staff? Yeah,
huge. Got to thank Ross Bjork and our administration, President Banks, everybody who's just committed to winning, and I think they understand that keeping your staff and having some continuity and synergy and consistency there is important. And so there were a lot of phone calls about our coaches. A lot about Mike Early, a lot about Nate Yeske had opportunities, and I think it says a lot about Texas A&M that those guys all wanted to stay here. And it's been a much smoother first 3 or 4 weeks of school, and hopefully we can keep it that way for a real long time.
Thanks and giggle.
All right.